Hey guys, how are you? Happy Tuesday. This is day 2 of our JumpStart challenge. And I don't know about you. Is everybody totally freezing today? I am like wearing a sweater. I have long sleeves, my LL Bean slippers, and my leggings. I am just so freaking cold today. I can't keep myself warm. And I'm drinking hot tea. So I am not ready for summer to end, but I think it is about to. So anyway, today wanted to talk about meal prep, and portion control. And to me, yesterday we talked about meal planning and figuring out what you're going to have for the week and mapping it all out. One thing I realized I forgot to show you was my little meal planning grid, which I'm going to show you really briefly now, and I'll post a picture of it in the Facebook group. Just going to hopefully this will turn and you can see my computer. Yes, there it is. So what it does is it'll work through each day what I'm going to have for every meal, and then I break it, I'll show you the portion control containers in a minute, but I break it down by color and portion control container, so that way I kind of know what's going on and how, so anyway. Um, I'm going to turn this back. Anyway, so as far as planning, what I do is I try to take Sunday, and lately it's been really challenging because I haven't been around much on Sundays. But I try to take a couple hours on Sunday and prep as much as I can. And it doesn't have to be Sunday, it could be any night during the week, but I just tend to, I prefer Sunday just because it sort of, to me, is the beginning of the week. So what I do is I have the planning grid all filled out, and I may not have it filled out for the complete week. I may have it like Monday through Thursday because Friday goes into the weekend and we're not quite sure what we're doing, and that'll kind of flush out as we get closer. But I have it as much planned as possible. And then what I do is I start cooking what I can. And what I do is I will cook my carbs for the week. I'll cook my rice, my quinoa, potatoes, and just have them in the fridge ready to go for something. They can be either eaten on their own or they can be put into another meal later on in the week. So I do that. The other things that I will cook up in advance is we grill a lot. We're old-fashioned. We have charcoal. We don't do gas. So we tend to grill a lot on the weekends. And usually Sunday we will have like a roast chicken and everything, and then we use that becomes our, a lot of our protein for the week. I'll make other things too. We don't just live on chicken. But we'll keep that in the fridge, and that can either be repurposed into another meal. It can top salads for lunches. There's a lot we can do with it. And if we're really ambitious, we'll make a chicken soup. So we cook the carbs. I'll cook other proteins. Like if I want to have like there's some lean meats that I want to cook, I'll cook those in advance, and then they can be mixed into whatever meal I'm making. If it's not, sometimes, because some meals require something cooked. If it's something that requires, raw whatever, I won't do that. But I might set up, like I use the crock pot a lot too. Not so much in the summer, but definitely moving into the fall and winter. I make a lot of soups and one pot meals. I will set those up, set up the ingredients in a Ziploc bag and have it in the fridge and then have it ready to go. It's one of those things that way in the morning when I'm setting up my crock pot meal, everything is ready and I don't have to do anything else. I will cut up my vegetables for the week and bag them. I will, the grill, crock pot, proteins. Some of the other things that I cook is I'll make like a half a dozen hard-boiled eggs at a time. They are great as a grab and go thing to just have with you. So those are some of my favorites. Other than that, I just try to keep everything handy. Wanted to share, as far as portion control, I was showing you the planning grid. What has worked for me are these silly little portion control containers, and I'm going to bring them over. And this is what they are. They're different sizes. This happens to be the purple one for fruit. We have a slightly smaller red one for proteins. The green one is for vegetables. It's the same size as the purple one. And then we have the little carb container, which is fairly small. And then we have blue for healthy fats and orange for nuts, for seeds and dressings. So anyway, I tend to, when I portion things, what I'll do is I'll cook something and I'll make sure that the portions are right. Especially if I've been sort of lax, I will kind of get back into it. Like when I was making my salad, I had some chicken in the refrigerator and I actually measured it out in a little red container. And it always amazes me as how much food it is. So, but it definitely does help me help prevent me from overeating. And as far as, how I eat, and it's kind of a work in progress with marathon training, but I tend to eat 4 proteins a day, and I will go for a protein at every meal. I'll also have a shake midday, my Shakeology, and that kind of gives me enough protein for the day. Vegetables, in my opinion, you can never overeat vegetables unless they're drenched with sauces and butters and, so, you can never overeat green vegetables. You see your broccolis, your lettuce, your kales, your lettuces, arugula, all the green ones you can't overeat. They have like no calories. They're filling. So unless you're drenching them in butters and stuff, they're fine. I try to go a little bit more moderately on things like carrots and beets and some of the vegetables that have more, a little bit higher sugar content. So that's, how I approach it. But I will, I'll eat like huge salads and not worry about it. I do carbs. I try to keep myself to 2, with the exception of marathon training. And I'm definitely going more carbs on the days that I have long runs. The day before and the day of a long run, I tend to double up on carbs just because I know I need them. And then, fats, healthy fats and things like that, I just try to stay in moderation. Lots of water. Things that I avoid, I really, my goal is to avoid processed sugars because they don't really add any benefit. I will use honey, maple syrup, things like that, even though it does cause a blood sugar spike. There's enough nutrients in those products, in the unprocessed sugars, that I feel like, all right, in moderation, they're fine. I try to avoid like the processed foods and the processed sugars because there's just so many chemicals and stuff in them that they're not doing anything for you. As far as, there's a lot about full fat versus reduced fat. As a rule, I avoid the reduced fat products. Like the reduced fat cheeses, things like that. There's so much chemical stuff and processing done to take out the fat that it doesn't really give you, that you're kind of losing the benefit, and the fat helps you feel fuller. The exception is is yogurt. I personally don't like the full fat yogurt or even the 2% fat yogurt, so I go with the 0%. So that's just my own personal preference. But that's just that's how I do it. I'm trying to think of other things. So yeah, so that's pretty much how I do meal prep. Love to hear from you guys as far as, what works for you. What are you struggling with? Where can I help you with this? And what kind of changes can you make to make it a little bit easier for yourself? Because the whole objective with meal prep is to save time. Because I find like when I'm not stressing out every day about cooking, I eat a lot better and it makes my week go better. So that's kind of where I've adopted the meal prep. Anyway, I will talk to you guys tomorrow. I'll be posting the questions for everybody, and I'll get this up on YouTube and send it out in an email too. Talk to you later. Bye.